Welcome to the Traffic Hackers Podcast, the crossroads of lead generation expertise and business growth savvy. Here we explore the expansive landscape of demand generation, guided by your hosts, Brent Stone and Glen Martin. So get your laptop out and your cell phone ready. It's time to enter the world of the Traffic Hackers.
Hey, welcome back to the Traffic Hackers. I'm Brent.
What's up, guys? Glenn here. Super excited to jump into some more stuff with you guys today.
It's going to be good. Today, we're getting into some content on different channels, multi-channel marketing for the purpose of lead generation, because I think a lot of people discount the whole idea of having a couple different avenues, because a lot of times we're taught to go deep on one thing. I don't disagree with that. I think people should master a platform. However, if you're going to work with a company like ours, or if you're going to work with a company, another firm out there that's going to handle lead generation for you, or advertising, or whatever the case is, they have a lot of tools at their disposal. So Glenn, I want to ask you, from your perspective, what are some, I was going to say pros versus cons on going multi-channel. Let's just stick with the pros. Hey, what are reasons to go multi-channel, and what does that look like?
It's a great question. And whether you're a business doing this for yourself or whether you have someone coming in from the outside, there's a lot of pros to having multi-channel marketing. And what we mean by that is, obviously, you look at your top social medias like Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn. You jump into your top ones. That is where a lot of people's eyeballs live on a day-to-day basis. And then you have other multi-channel, which is your website. So you can, push SEO to your website. You have just the ad space in general. And so why multi-channel? I think there's probably a lot of reasons, but number one, depending on your audience, people live on different platforms based on their age demographics, based on their experience and what they do, et cetera. And so multi-channel allows you to hit a much broader market than if you just go into one channel. So you might have your Instagram and it's amazing, but you're hitting one segment of the audience. You're hitting a certain age demographic and a certain group of people in that platform. Then you move to Facebook and you have an audience over there that you're nurturing. It's probably a little bit of a different audience than what is inside your Instagram. X is then a completely different audience, typically. And then LinkedIn is another completely different audience. So you see where I'm going with this. Just in these four main social medias, you're hitting four completely different targets. Maybe it's age, maybe it's income levels. It could be professions, especially with LinkedIn. You're looking at, this is a cool stat, kind of completely off the subject, but LinkedIn, the average user inside LinkedIn makes $75,000 or above in their annual income. So you start thinking about that stuff. It's like, okay, well, cool. These people have a higher level of income. You want to get into that platform. Then you look at Instagram, for example, and you've got a lot of 15, 16, 17-year-olds on Instagram. Obviously, it goes up, and there's 30 and 40-year-olds on there as well. But you see why multi-channel is so important just from those two extremely different examples. I have not hardly ever, I don't know if I've ever come across a 15 or 16-year-old inside of LinkedIn, for example, right? So multi-channel allows you to hit these different demographics. Now, you've got your website. How can you multi-channel your website? Well, there's something called search engine optimization, or SEO, and it is pushing your website inside Google searches to the top of the charts so that people are on Google all the time. We don't even think anymore. Who has time for that? We can go on to Google and now we can find stuff, right? And so you want to leverage that multi-channel. Well, then you've got something called, advertising, programmatic ads. And it gets crazy. And here's why that's important, because it tracks essentially your behaviors and your, intent. If I'm searching constantly, what is better, iPhone versus Samsung? That's like always a debate out there, right? Well, now I'm going to start getting ads based on the searches that I'm performing. And that's another multi-channel place that you can start putting some of your advertising and what are all these things doing? It's not just so that you can make yourself feel good and you see yourself on all these channels. No, it's about leads. Every business wants leads, whether it's a brick and mortar store or whether it is a online business. Every business wants leads. And that is paramount when it comes to this multi-channel. And that's typically why people outsource, because it's a lot of work. You hit four social media channels. You have your website, you have programmatic display, you have geofencing. We could talk about OTT advertising and all kinds of stuff, and it gets overwhelming. That's why people outsource this stuff, because they're just like, you know what? I want all this, but I don't even have the bandwidth and I don't even know how. And so that's a different topic, but that's the benefits of multi-channel.
Yeah. Exposure, just wide exposure across the board. Well, here's the thing, I come from background in marketing and advertising. And one of the things that I got to witness on a day-to-day basis in that space was just people would be willing to spend gobs of money on advertising to generate leads. Like, that's why you buy advertising, is to generate leads. So one aspect of what we do, this isn't, our space to really just promote what we do, but we could talk about it, with some of our lead tether software. It's like, we do that to basically save people time and money, because it's not expensive to start the software portion, but then it adds that added value to everything else that's going on. If someone's already running like ads, if someone's running ads and doing SEO and pay-per-click and other things, it's just, you're out there that much more. People are going to recognize your face. There's this brand recognition that you start to establish for yourself personally. If you got a personal brand, company brand, if you're a spokesperson, just whatever it is. And so people can recognize you across multiple different avenues in the world of, business. And then, so you've got the digital front, you've got, media, being like TV, you've got print, all these different things. Wherever you show up, do people recognize you? And if people do recognize you and you have a call to action, that's the next thing. If you have a call, people can recognize you. There's people out there that are widely recognized. They don't have a CTA. If they have a CTA, a call to action, man, they can do quite well just with like publicity and all these other things. Like, because they got the publicity and they've got this brand, they can ask people to do stuff. That's the only reason why endorsements are a thing, right? Like, if you go and find a celebrity and they endorse a product, that's the only value that they bring to the table. Most of the time, celebrities get asked to endorse a product. They don't even use the product. They don't even whatever. They don't even know about the product. That's a whole nother discussion for another time. But if we're in the name of generating leads, in the name of generating leads, if we can get really tactical with how we look at these things that we can accomplish here, if we buy ads, that'll drive leads. And then building a strategy around, what someone's goal is, so I don't get into the weeds here. I do think that, when we look at this type of look at this type of topic, it is dangerous because people can go off on one end really quickly. I think I almost get overwhelmed talking about ads with people because people just don't understand. It's not just like, oh, I want to buy ads. Cause I've heard, I've heard that for years, even when I was in the radio space, people are like, well, it's just ads. Why are these more expensive than these over here? And it's like, well, a whole nother discussion, but basically there's really good reasons for why things are priced a certain way. And you can explain that if people are willing to actually build a strategy for their business. If people are just price shopping and whatever, a lot of times people won't buy ads in general. People don't want to talk to a company like ours or another big firm or whatever, just because they just don't understand the value that's there. And if people really wrap their head around it, well, how do these businesses stay afloat? Well, they're providing someone value. There's businesses buying ads. There's businesses doing these things, using these services. And so I guess for anyone that's listening to this, if you're really trying to generate more leads, you can do this really cheap. If you're starting off, I mean, you can do it really cheap if you're not starting off, but here's what you should probably be doing. And Glenn, you can weigh in on this here in a second, but having different social channels like what you mentioned, I think is really, really a starting block, because it's just real estate. You're just taking up real estate. Then you can do paid ads on social media and stuff like that. But your product and service also have to make sense for that audience. And then you can, do more of a professional type of outreach through LinkedIn. Definitely recommended, because we're really big on LinkedIn. But then there's also, you have your ad space, and then just targeting people, like you said, based on behavior. Where do they congregate online? Finding places where they already are online, and then buying ads within those places. All of this stuff is really big and important to really wrap your head around. And here's the best part. If you just want to generate leads and you don't want to take the time to wrap your head around it, you should hire out. You should outsource that. So that's just something else to consider. But knowing that multi-channel is part of the bigger strategy, I think that's probably one of the big things. So what you have any remarks on that, Glenn? Anything that you want to like throw in there as we're focusing this thing on, hey, how do you generate leads with multi-channel? How do you look at lead generation through the lens of leveraging multi-channel? What's a closing remark or two or three?
I think if you're trying to do this, Brent already mentioned, it can be overwhelming. It's like, man, there's a lot here. How do I really dice this down so that I can actually start doing this? That's why you see a lot of like brick and mortar businesses. They have no online presence yet, as far as like in Instagram and Facebook and places like this. It's because they don't have the time to actually do it. So I think we can all create time for probably one channel. And as you get really proficient at one, then you can move to a second or a third, and then you start to bring in bandwidth that you can do more. And so my closing remark here would be, find a channel that you spend time on already consuming, because we all have one probably that we consume on, right? It's Facebook, it's LinkedIn, it's Instagram. Now start producing for that platform for your business and get really good at that one. And then maybe you can look at adding other ones in, but start with one, start with 30 minutes a day, and start putting some thought into what can I do? Most people overthink it. If you've got a brick and mortar business, start creating content around just what you're doing on a daily basis, or products in your store, and just start putting stuff out there. I don't care if it's not as professional as it should be. Start getting something out there so that business owners know, hey, I'm here. It's like you raising your hand online. We're here and we're in business, and we're not going anywhere. Because in a day and age today where someone looks you up and they go over and check out your Instagram or your Facebook, and you haven't posted since 2016, you're inadvertently saying, I don't know if we're still in business or not, but you're welcome to try. But if you had something posted 24 hours ago, or even a week ago, or even 30 days ago, people know you're still credible. You're still here. There's still relevant content. I mean, this goes for every single industry. I was talking to a law firm about 2 years ago, and they're still in business. They're doing okay, but they have no social presence. They're like, yeah, I know we need to. I said, well, can I give you an example? If I look you up, they're trying to hit like younger demographics of people, and with the services that they offer at that law firm, I was like, on your Instagram, you guys haven't posted anything since 2016. And if I am a young person looking for a credible law firm and I see that, I'm not going to you. It's not because I have any beef with you. I just don't think that you know what I'm doing, because you haven't even posted anything for 8 years. And it's like, oh man, and to me, that is why this is so important, is its credibility in the marketplace today. So find one channel, go in on that one, and then you can start allocating and outsourcing as you get busier and as you bring in more clients. You can start to outsource and start hitting these multi-channel advertising aspects. So that's my closing remarks. And I hope that you guys go out and actually start doing this for your business, because you will see a return. Not right away, but you will see a return.
Yeah, totally. And I like what you said too about finding something that you consume already on. And honestly, that's probably one of the best pieces of advice, so you don't get overwhelmed, right? I mean, you don't want people to get overwhelmed trying to, dive into this, especially if you're trying to do it on a budget. You want to be able to justify the time and also understand the audience. Another thing that I was thinking of after you said that, Glenn, was that if you do run brick and mortar, being able to ask each of your customers as they're checking out, hey, do you consume on social media? Are you on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok? What are you on? And then just really getting data, because a lot of times where if we go back based off of what we consume and we're selling something that's maybe different than what we would even be like purchase of our own, like not purchasing our own product or service, which is probably a very rare case, but data never lies. So if you can ask, then you're really confident that you're going to invest good time in creating something. Because if you've already got, the numbers are showing you out of 100 customers that, 70% of them watch YouTube. Well, creating YouTube shorts would be more profitable than TikTok. I mean, just right in the beginning, and then you can expand from there. But yeah, totally. I think that that's really wise. Hey, everybody, thank you all for tuning in to the Traffic Hackers today. We hope that this has benefited you. And until next time, we'll see you later. Thanks so much. Take care.